Hi, I'm Wendy from Shiny Happy World, and I've been making a scrap quilt. And today I'm going to show you how I join pairs of blocks together so that you get a perfect intersection in the middle of your block. So this is one of the pairs that I'm going to be working with, and I wanted to show you that I have the block pressed open. I usually press my blocks to one side or the other, that means with both of the flaps to one side or the other side, and nest them together that way, and I have a video showing that. But for this scrap quilt, and for a lot of scrap quilts, I don't know yet how everything is going to go together in the end, so I can't plan for opposing seam allowance flipping. So what I'm doing is pressing it open. That way I can put them together any way I like. So first I want to show you a tip to press them open. If you're chain piecing, you're going to not have the ends secured, so you want to be careful when you press these open. So what I do is pull it kind of from the middle. I pull it nice and tight without stretching it, and then I work this open. Just kind of finger press it down, and then I get my iron. I am not pushing down here, I'm just gliding it to get it over, and now I push down once it's in place. You don't want to go pushing back and forth with the iron on your blocks. So now that seam is pressed open. So I just wanted to show that to you before I show you how to join them together. And when I join them together, if I'm worried about the intersection in the middle, which I usually am, I'm going to use a pin, because pins are our friends. And what you're going to do is you're going to line up this seam with this seam underneath. So you want to make sure that those are lined up as best you can get them. And then I'm going to put a pin straight through from front to back. I'm going to put it right in between those two pieces of fabric. And I'm positioning it about 1/4 of an inch in from the edge of the fabric. Now before I secure that pin, I'm going to turn this over and make sure that it is indeed coming out between the two pieces of fabric on the back too. Sometimes things shift a little bit and you think you had it lined up and it's not perfect. But this one, it came right out in the middle. So flip it over and check that, and then go ahead and secure it. And now we're going to take it over to the sewing machine, and I'm going to show you how to sew those together. So I've got the pin holding it in the middle. That's my handy dandy hand there in the middle. I'm making sure that my ends are lined up here. And I've got a little piece of tape down here that's covering up that bump there. Otherwise, that bump would tend to grab this seam allowance and pull this bottom piece backwards a little bit. The tape just makes it a nice, smooth, continuous surface from my pull-out front piece to the arm of the machine. So I'm going to lay this down under here, and I'm going to sew, and I'm going to go right up to that pin. I want to have that pin holding it in place for as long as I possibly can. Then I'm going to make sure that I've got this corner lined up, and I do. And now I'm going to take that pin out and continue sewing. And we'll take that over to the ironing board and see how it turned out. So you can see, looking at this, I actually am still off by a couple of threads in there, but I will take that. I think that that's a pretty good intersection. So I want to show you one more quick thing, how to press this. Now I'm going to press this seam open as well. I do the same thing. I kind of pull on this little seam part, pull this bit open, finger press it down, and then press down with my iron. And I've got a nice little 4-patch block. So that's it. When I'm sewing together pairs of blocks like that, and even long strips of block, every place where there's a seam that I want to match up with the seam on the other side of it, I stick a pin straight through the front, check to make sure that it's lined up on the back, and then use that pin to hold it in place. And when I sew right up to that pin, so I don't have that seam shifting at as little as is humanly possible. I'm Wendy from Shiny Happy World. I'll see you next time.